Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today for a start of the year declutter. Now, I really wanted to declutter my collection. I haven't done a proper declutter in like 2 to 3 years. As I go, I sort of, will declutter small things, but I haven't really taken everything out and decluttered it properly. So I thought I'll do that at the start of this year, partly because I was sort of prepping for my project pan and I'm like, I don't actually know what products I want to pan because all the products that I have out are sort of new or fun or things that I'm playing with that I don't really need to pan. All the old stuff is like hidden in drawers. So I pulled everything out and I decided to do a 4-part declutter. So this is the first of 4 of the videos. And this one is a bit of a strange one because I actually don't get rid of heaps. Now this video is my primers, my foundations, concealers, powders, and like setting sprays, finishing sprays. And you'll notice that I've got a lot of products that are like unopened or backups. So I actually didn't declutter too many in this particular video, but I will declutter a lot more as the videos go on because this isn't really my problem area. At the end of this video as well, I will show you how I've sort of stored them. I'm not the most organized person in the world, but as long as it's got a place to go and it's like contained, I'm happy. So I don't have any fancy storage system going on. I just put things in drawers, but you'll see how I've sort of stored it at the very end. So this is my first declutter video and stay tuned over the next couple of days for my second one. So here we are with primers, setting sprays, finishing sprays, powders, foundations, primers. Did I say primers? I think I did. Concealers. So pretty much sort of base products. I've got them here. We're going to sort through them. This is actually my primer drawer. So it is ridiculous and I'll explain why it's ridiculous very soon. But let's go through it, shall we? Okay, so this looks like it's a problem and probably the setting sprays is more of a problem, but I've got a lot of primers. Now, what you might notice with this is that a lot of the primers are in their boxes because sometime last year, Becca sent us at Beauty News one of every single Smashbox primer and I opened one, which was this one. I also opened the oil, which I really like, and I've been using these, but the other ones I haven't actually opened. So I don't have too much of an issue having a lot of products when they're unopened because they're not exposed to air, they don't go off. So I am keeping all of these and they're just going to sit in a drawer, and I will use them. I just have to tell myself, you do not need any more primers. You literally have 6 of them in a box. So I'm keeping them. Hopefully that wasn't out of focus, but I feel like it might have been. So anyway, keeping these guys here. I'm also keeping these 2 here because I only opened them in the last few months. I really like the primer oil. I like to use that in winter. I quite like this one, which is the Broad Spectrum 20. I've been using those really happily, so I'm going to keep those as well. Some that I'm definitely getting rid of. This one by Inoxa, even though it does do a really good job at vanishing the pores, I've had this for a very long time, so it is going. These by L'Oreal, I think they're not too bad, but they're messy to use. See how like icky they are? And once again, I've had these for nearly a year, if not longer. I do quite like the green one. I think the green one, if you want a really good green primer, it's probably the most green primer that I've... See, look at this. What is this? It's like the most green primer I've come across. So if you do like a anti-redness primer and you have a lot of redness, this is pretty good for you. For me, I don't tend to use color correcting primers too much, even though this one is pretty rad. Tempted to keep this one. I just don't use it though. To be fair, this one is way too illuminating. What is it? Illuminizing, they call it. So it is too strobe-like. That will make me look like a grease ball. And I don't really like mattifying primers these days. It just makes my skin look a little bit like dry and shit. So I'm actually going to get rid of these. Even though these aren't bad, I just don't reach for them. They are extreme at what they do though. So, there you go. Speaking of mattifying ones, this is one that I've tried to pan in the past. This is the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Primer. I find this to be, once again, very, very mattifying, and to the point where it can make your makeup sit a bit funny. And you can make it work and it does do a good job. I just feel like on my skin that's getting a bit older, this is not the best. So I've had it for too long. It's been sitting in my collection for well over a year, maybe 2 years, so I'm getting rid of this. This is also something that's been in my collection for far too long. This is the Pore Delete by Hylamide. I really wanted to make this work. You put it on, it's supposed to like help hide your pores, but I just think it's a really like finicky product. It's really hard to make work, so it sort of messes with your foundation funny. This is definitely going. I have recently been using the Nano Blur by Indeed Laboratories. This is a green color corrector, but it's also the Nano Blur technology. So it sort of helps blur your pores a bit while slightly color correcting. I find that this is enough color correction for a daily basis just to knock out a little bit of that redness. So I'm gonna keep this. I only got it recently. I quite like it, and I think it's enough without me sort of having to, like, it just, I don't know, I think that's a bit more manageable and it makes your skin feel quite nice and hydrated as well. So I'm keeping this. All right, I've got 3, the Pore Fessional. I've got the Pearl one, which is slightly more pink toned. I have the original, which is sort of like, I don't know, a skin tone color. These do sort of help blur pores a little bit, and some people find that they break them out. It doesn't break me out. I find these to be quite easy to use, and I've got a little sample one as well. I'm going to take the sample one maybe traveling with me, and I might endeavor to use at least one of these up. So you can see one's a little bit more brightening, one's like a little bit more just flesh toned. But you can see that they do blur the skin. It's just whether or not your skin can handle them. Mine is pretty fine with these. So these are slightly older than the Smashbox ones I mentioned, and also the Indeed Labs one. So I am going to put these in my project pan this year and try to use them up by the end of the year, which I should be able to do. So those are going in the project pan pile. This is by Lancome, and it is the Intense Highlighter Shimmery Dewy Glow. So this is sort of, I don't know, I just don't think that this does much to my skin. The theory is you put it on like under your foundation. Oh, it's messy too. You put it under your foundation and it does give a bit of a luminosity to your skin. I might actually put this in the test pile because that is enough glow, I think, to show through your foundation and give a bit of like healthy looking skin. I'm gonna have to tidy this up though. It is messy, but it's not like too much. I find that Maybelline, was it Maybelline or L'Oreal? That L'Oreal one, I think it was too much, whereas this I think would look nice under foundation. So I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna clean it up, give me a sec. So I might actually try this and give it a test to see if I want to put it in my project pan. This might go in my project pan in winter where it's not as hot, so I'm not as sort of like oily, and I think something like this really does give a glow to your skin when your skin's looking a bit flat. So I might test this out, see if it works well under makeup, because I don't remember, and might put it in my winter project pan. We've got some samples here from MAC. We've got the Strobe Cream and also what is this? Natural Radiance Base Lumiere. I have not opened these, I have not used these, so I'm gonna put these in a drawer, and once again, these might come traveling with me or, you know, over in my overnight bag or something, or I might pan these in the future, but they haven't been opened, so I'm keeping those. All right, we've got 3 products here from Mecca. So we've got 2 from Mecca Cosmetica, 1 from Mecca Max. These have not even been opened. We've got a blurring setting spray and illuminating primer. These have not been opened. So I'm going to keep these and I'm going to test them. This is a really good size. Not only is this good to keep sort of to depot setting sprays into if you're going to travel, but it's really easy to use up in a project pan. So I'm going to keep these to the side. They haven't been opened. They haven't been exposed to air, and I'm going to tackle these maybe later in the year. This is a product that I have used. It's a multi-purpose plumping balm, not pumping balm, but it does have a pump. So this is just like a nice moisturizing balm. I think I could definitely use this up. I'm just trying to think. So it works as a moisturizer, a primer, and a mask to transform the skin. I might actually keep this and put it in my winter project pan as a primer as well. I think these will be really good at like plumping and hydrating the skin when it's drier. This also doesn't look like it's got much in it. It's up to there. So I think that's should be really easy to pan. And this one might be enjoyable to pan. So I'm going to keep these. Worst case scenario, I'll just use this as like a moisturizer or even a hand cream. So I might pan those along with the Pore Fessionals. All right, so with my primers, I've only got 3 that are open that I'm not going to target in my project pan because I opened them recently. And then I've got 5, well, 4 and a sample that I'm going to try to target in my project pan this year. And then the rest of them have not even been opened. So I'm going to keep these. I might throughout the year possibly gift them to people if they don't work for me. So if I don't want whatever this one is, a radiance one, or if I don't want a redness one, I might gift these to people I know. But these, since these are unopened, I'm keeping them in a drawer. They're safe and sound. It's fine. And then I think there's about 5 or 6 that I am getting rid of, which are currently in the bin. All right, here is another issue that I've got going on. But I am going to tell you, I'm not actually going to throw any of these out. Sounds crazy. Hear me out. Firstly, none of these have been opened. So maybe I should actually double check where I'm putting these in the screen. These haven't been opened. So for me, I might donate 1 or 2 of them and keep, I really want to keep this vitamin wake up mist, and it's got orange blossom and citrus extract. So that sounds amazing. I'm going to keep this and possibly use this in like summer months project pan. I think this one actually has been opened, but I've only used it a few times. So I'm going to focus on using this up. This is sealed and unopened. So I might actually donate this one to a women's shelter. So that's going in the donate bag. These 2 I'm going to try and see if I should try to use them up this year. We've got a makeup fixing mist and a hydrate milky mist. So once again, this might be really good in summer. This might be really good in winter. So I might try to pan all 3 of these. The one I'm currently using is this one by Mario Badescu. This one is down to there. So I'm going to keep using this as is, and I'm just gonna continue to use this. I really like this. All right, these 2 have been unopened. These were gifts from subscribers, so I'm going to keep these. I'm going to try these in the future. Because they're unopened, I really don't need to use them now, so I'm putting these aside. Similar to the other Mecca stuff, this I got in a sort of birthday gift kind of thing, and I haven't used it, so I'm going to keep this in a drawer until I need it, and then I'm going to open it and I'm going to use it, so I'm keeping that. All right, these 2 are primer waters from Smashbox. I have been using this green one, and this citrus one is unopened, so I'm going to continue to use them. This I'm going to put in a drawer. This one I will keep near me and I will try to use. I don't really use primer waters, so I'm trying to get myself into the habit of using that. Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is only a recent purchase. I don't love it. I really love the spray. The spray is like so nice, but I really don't love the product. This sort of does break down my makeup a little bit, like it doesn't actually make it set. So I'm gonna maybe hold on and use this in winter. So that's going to the side. You will notice, like I said before, I'm not actually throwing any of these out. Like I said, I might donate 1 or 2, but the rest of them I'm actually keeping. All right, here is where I have double ups and crazy stuff happening. I've got 1 of each of the Shiramura Skin Perfectors. My favorite one is the Sakura, followed by the Yuzu, which is like a citrus. Then this one, the Shobu one, smells a bit like, hang on, give me a sec. I don't know, that's a really interesting scent. It's a little bit more masculine, it's a little bit less sweet, but I really like these. The nozzle and the spray is very, very fine. If you hold it far away from yourself, it's almost like you're not putting anything on your face. It's got a little bit of oil in there, as you can see, so it adds a bit of like hydration to your face, but these are beautiful. This one's a little bit, this cypress one's a little bit more green smelling. Yeah, it smells a little bit more herbal, but I love these. I'm keeping all of them. They are my like little splurge. It's like my little, when you're going out and you want to feel really great and finish off your makeup a really nice way, I love all of these, so I'm keeping them. I also have the Stage Performer, which is sort of like a makeup fix mist. These are more of a hydrating refresher. This is like a setting thing. It's got the powder down the bottom. I'm keeping all of these. They work really well. They're not cheap, so these are sort of like my top shelf setting sprays or finishing sprays. I'm keeping them. All right, I've got 2 Fix Plus products from MAC. The original Fix Plus is one of my all-time favorite finishing sprays. We've got the pink light one, which has a bit of shimmer in it, and also the matte one. I haven't played with these too much. I think I might play with this more now, probably now. I've got so much more to play with, but if I want a mattifying one, this is a pretty good one. I haven't actually used this, so it's a little bit dusty, but I haven't actually used it. So this is going to the side. This one I might use a little bit more. Don't focus on the one in the side. This one I might play with more in winter where I want some illumination. I don't love this, but it's relatively new. I've got it in the last 12 months, so I'm going to keep it for a while. All right, then we've got this situation going on. So we've got a bunch of Urban Decay all-nighter setting sprays. These are pretty good setting sprays. I don't think they're miracle workers, but they're not bad. These three, I think I got in, these two I definitely got in PR. This one is unopened. This one is personalized. And these I think I got in, I think this was in the Sephora favorites and this was in something else. So I'm keeping these for travel, and I'm going to depot the big ones into the small ones. I'm actually keeping all of these. I don't need all of them, but I know that eventually I will use them up, so why the heck not? And one, like I said, is unopened. So I am going to keep out these three and the one that I use sort of on a daily basis. I'm going to put these in my project pan sort of box, and this just on my desk. All the rest of them do fit into a drawer, so it is excessive, I am aware, but these are all very good, very usable products, and a lot of them, probably half of them, haven't even been opened. So this is just my stash. I might give away some that haven't been opened as I'm using things up and realizing that this is ridiculous. I might do that, but this is an area that, believe it or not, is relatively under control for me. So I'm going to keep all this and put these in my project pan basket. All right, believe it or not, this is my sort of foundation collection. I think it is pretty under control. There might be a couple of other ones that I have floating around. Like I said, I've got a drawer of makeup from subscribers that a lot of it I haven't opened yet, and I sort of just keep it in that drawer. But this is the stuff that was in my base drawer, and this is pretty under control. I haven't bought foundations recently, and I have been panning a lot of them. I think I used up 7 in the past year, so I'm going to target a lot of these to be used up in my project pan, and I'll chuck out a couple. So this one by Urban Decay I don't love. It doesn't last on me very well in summer, but at the moment, I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty much like down to here. I have been using this a lot. I've been mixing it with my Marc Jacobs one, which is one of the most messiest packaging ever, but also one of the most full coverage foundations ever. And I sort of mix them together, and I want to use up both of these this year. I think this one will just be used up organically. This one I'll target in my project pan. So these are going in my project pan basket. This is another thing that's going in my project pan basket. So this is by Lancome. It is a stick foundation. It is a nice shade for me right now. I don't really love the formula. It doesn't last super well. This is just in 10 beige porcelain, I think. Yep. And I think I might actually bring this with me traveling. So I'm going to use this up soon, and stick foundations are pretty easy to use up. So that is being used up. All right, this one is personalized one. I've only used this, I think, once or twice. It's pretty much new, so I'm putting this aside. I am keeping it. This one by CoverGirl is a backup. This has not even been opened, so I'm putting that to the side. This Wet n Wild one, I want to use up more in winter. The shade is very light for me, as you can see. So my normal sort of shade, that versus that. So I am going to focus on using this up in winter. So I'm putting that in my project pan pile. And then we have these guys. Infallible Total Cover. I was mainly using this to mix and add coverage to lower coverage foundations, but I've been doing that with my Marc Jacobs one. So I'm actually going to get rid of this Infallible Full Cover. That also reminded me that I've got a backup of Infallible 24-Hour Matte. See, this hasn't been opened, so I'm putting this in the drawer to be used. With the Infallible Pro Glow, I think I'm going to focus on using this up maybe in, I don't know, maybe later in the year. I just panned one of these recently. I don't really want to use it in summer. It's a little bit too glowy for me in summer, so I'll hold on to this. And then these guys, look, I'm going to definitely keep these two. I quite like, well, I do really like the Too Faced Peach Perfect Foundation, and I quite like the It Cosmetics Oil Free Matte. These are pretty new, not new, but like newish in the last 12 months. I don't feel the need to use them up yet, so I'm just going to put them to a side for just like, you know, everyday wear. And then when it comes to this BB cream by La Roche-Posay Effaclar Duo, I'm going to try to use this up like soon. I've been using this a lot in summer on like low makeup days. It's a really good shade for me at the moment. This is just light. And it gives okay coverage, so it's like helps with breakouts. I'm going to try to use this up. So there's not many foundations that I've thrown out. I'm only throwing out one, but that's because I have been going through my foundation collection in 2018 and I am really targeting things to use up, or I've been throwing them out as the year goes on. So I'm going to target these 4 to use this year. And then if I use these, I'm going to try to target this one and also this one. I'm targeting these 5. And then these 6 are like fine to stay for a while. They're either unused or relatively new. Oh, one I want to mention as well, I do have a cushion foundation from Shiramura, and I also have a refill of this. I quite like this. I keep this in my handbag for touch-up, so I am also keeping that. All right, Mayday, Mayday. As I was going through another drawer, I found some more foundations. This is a backup of Revlon Colorstay. It hasn't been opened. This is one that I was given in PR. It's way too dark for me. I thought I'll keep it to like mix, but I'm going to get rid of it. And then I've got the BB cream. This is the Uvidia XL by La Roche-Posay. So this is one that's got SPF 50. So I might keep this one over the other one. All right, I'm just going to look at the colors. This is the Effaclar, which helps prevent breakouts. That's that one. And then we have the Uvidia. They're quite similar actually. I might actually keep the Uvidia one. I think this color is a little bit more neutral for me, and at the moment it's better with the sunscreen. So I might keep this one and get rid of this one. All right, we're on to concealers, and there are some concealers here that haven't been opened. So for example, this one hasn't been opened, this one hasn't been opened, and these haven't been opened. These I've had for a long time. I really like them. I think they're a good drugstore dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. So these ones I'm keeping. This Master Conceal one in 10 Fair I keep as a color adjuster. So this is the one that I've got currently in my drawer. I buy them half price and they're really good to lighten darker foundations. So I'm keeping these untouched ones, these unopened ones, as backups. When it comes to these guys, I'm actually going to get rid of the Naked Skin. It sort of lifts foundation. It doesn't actually give much coverage. The color is a little bit yellow. This color is in light warm. I just don't like it. I think it's like a shitty version of Shape Tape. Doesn't work for me. I'm getting rid of it. This year I'm going to pan my Shape Tape. I've had these for a while. I really like the light neutral one. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty much used up. There's only a bit down the bottom and up the top. And then I've got light, which is probably like my winter shade or a highlight shade. So these I'm going to target to pan this year. So keeping these, putting them in my project pan container. All right, then there's a few color correcting products. So like I said, I keep this one as a color corrector. It works really well. I will keep that. I will also keep the Ultra 3 shade adjusting drops. I really like these. They come in handy in winter. There is the darkening drops as well that I don't use as much, but it does work pretty well. So I am keeping that. I originally had this to deepen foundation, but I really don't use it anymore, so I'm getting rid of it. I also thought a similar thing with this Lancome Camouflage Concealer. I really like the foundation that goes with this. This is a little bit too dark for me, so I might actually get rid of this and eventually get it in a better shade, so I'm getting rid of these too. This is a sample of foundation from MAC. I'll keep it. I haven't opened it. These 3 concealers I'm not super crazy for. The Cosmetics Bye Bye Breakouts I got recently and I don't love it, but I don't know, I'm gonna keep it because I haven't had it for too long. I want to try it a bit more. The Photo Focus Concealer is okay. It's a little bit light. I don't love it. The Revolution Makeup Conceal and Define, I don't love this either. People say it's the same as Tarte Shape Tape. I don't think it is, but I do want to do a comparison video, so I'll keep this for a review, and then I might actually give it the flick. I don't love these. I'm keeping this. I'm getting rid of this, and I'm going to keep this for a review, and then if after the review I might give it a toss. So I'm keeping all of these guys here. All right, being an oily skin girl, I am pretty obsessed with powders, as you can see. In fact, I just bought a new powder yesterday, like I need them. But I am going to go through some of this and get rid of some. Some I haven't opened. This is brand new, have not opened it, so I'm keeping it. This Laura Mercier Universal Powder, I haven't opened it, I'm keeping it. This translucent setting powder, once again, I haven't used it, I'm keeping it. This Coty Airspun is currently was in my project pan. I'm carrying it over, so I'm targeting this to use it up. All right, when it comes to the RCMA No Color Powder, I actually don't love this. I don't use it. I've had it for a while. I might give this to a friend because there's a lot left in it and it is perfectly good. So I just don't love it. I just don't use it. So I am going to pass this on. I'm also going to pass on this powder by NYC, New York Color. I have actually used this before and it's a fine powder. It's just that this hasn't been touched. So I might actually donate this. I feel like since it has been unopened, it is probably good to donate. It's a fine powder. I just have so many powders that I think by the time I get around to this, it will be 3 years time. So I may as well give it to someone that needs it. Peach Perfect powder I love. I will keep. I like to use it. It's great. Putting it in the keep pile. It Cosmetics. This is the translucent Bye Bye Pores. This is a very, very drying powder, but it also holds your makeup really well. So this is great for hot weather. I might try to start using this up maybe after the Coty Airspun. I might put this in my project pan basket and try to use this. I quite like the Linda Hallberg Infinity Filter Loose Setting Powder. It's a nice finely milled powder, nice high quality, so I'm keeping that. I've got a couple of Rimmel Stay Matte powders. These are just powders that I like to use if I'm using, you know, in summer. These are unopened, so I'm keeping them. These are just backups. I've got Australis Fresh and Flawless pressed powder. These are like my handbag powders, so I'm going to keep this. I've got an unopened Hourglass ambient lighting powder in, I don't know what this is, dim light. I got this at Meccaland. I'm going to keep this. It's unopened, so I'll use it eventually. I've got a loose banana powder from Mecca Max. I actually haven't used that. I have used this one and it's actually quite nice. So I'm going to keep these as well because they're relatively new. This one's unused. This one's used like once. I'm going to keep them. Bare Minerals Mineral Veil powder. This is only new, so I got this in, I think with a subscriber put this in a parcel to Beauty News, and I'm definitely going to probably focus on using this up maybe in winter, so that's cool. And these two I'm getting rid of, so I'm only really getting rid of 3. One I've already put in the donate pile, this I'll put in give to friend pile, and these I'm going to throw out. This is a Sephora powder. I don't like it. We destroyed it on the makeup breakup and sort of like half repressed it. It's too light for me. It kind of makes me look a little bit ashy. This Wet n Wild Photo Focus pressed powder, it sort of doesn't set your makeup at all and just adds more powder to it. So I'm getting rid of those. So once again, I'm keeping a lot of powders. A couple I will pan. Some of them have not even been opened. Most of them have not even been opened. So these have not been opened. That has not been opened. These have been opened. So I really only have 5 that I've opened. 2 I'll try to pan, and then I might add some into my project pan throughout the year, but a lot of them have not even been touched, so I'm keeping those. All right, so these are the base products that I am keeping. It all fits nicely in a shoebox. These do go in a drawer, so I will organize these a bit better. So for me, this is a lot of products, but I've actually used up quite a lot in the past year or so, and I wear foundation and powders and concealer very frequently. So for me, I probably can use up a lot of these in the next year. I won't be able to use them all up, of course, but I go through powder like there's no tomorrow. I go through foundation like there's no tomorrow. So for me, even though this is a lot of makeup and you'll be like, that is crazy, you should have been more ruthless, all of these are usable and I will use them. So for me, this is not too problematic. You should see my lipsticks and my eyeshadow palettes, they're problematic. You should see my highlighters, they're problematic. But for me, this is manageable. So I will endeavor to use a lot of these up I do eventually want to get to a point where I only have maybe 3 or 4 foundations and a couple of powders, maybe 1 or 2 concealers on the go at any one time, but you know, I'm not there yet. Alright, so this is roughly where I do my makeup, and I thought I will show you how I've organized the base products that you've just seen. So let's get on to that. So next to my desk, hopefully you'll see some drawers down here and some drawers here, and I'm going to show you what's inside. So in this sort of bag here is just some project pan things that I want to sort of work into my project pan later this year, so I'll put these in a different area. And then this is my base drawer. So in here you can see the foundations as well as some bronzers that I'll declutter in the next video. We've got some concealers, we've got some foundations that haven't been opened, some concealers that haven't been opened over here, and then some things that I'm sort of using up, and some powders down here. So that is my base drawer. Everything that I've sort of decluttered is in there. There's some powders that I haven't used over in this corner. So that's my base drawer. Over in this different chest of drawers is the sort of primers and the setting sprays. I kind of put these off to the side because I don't use these as much. So this is in just that drawer over there, and it all fits in nicely. So that's, yeah, 2 drawers, this drawer and over here. All right, guys, I will end this here, but I will see you next time for sort of face color products. So bronzers, blushes, highlighters, stuff like that. There's more problematic stuff there, trust me. So we will see you then.